There is going to be a huge amount of coverage. That is inevitable. Harry and Meghan are the ultimate in clickbait these
Yeah.
days. People are curious whether you like them, hate them, don't care. There's a fascination.
Yeah.
Australia doesn't get a huge amount of international celebrities. So I think there is going to be a vast amount of coverage.
Greetings, everyone. Let's talk about what's unfolding in Australia, because there's a narrative emerging that the detractors simply cannot control. Sometimes, in their effort to downplay the significance of the Duke and Duchess of Sussex, the media slips and tells the truth. Here's Victoria Arbiter, a royal commentator not known for being a Sussex cheerleader, admitting recently that there is going to be a huge amount of coverage surrounding Harry and Meghan's Australia visit. She noted that it is inevitable because Harry and Meghan are the ultimate in clickbait these days. People are curious. Whether you like them, hate them, or don't care, there's a fascination. And because Australia doesn't get a huge amount of international celebrities, she concluded that there is going to be a vast amount of coverage. This is the admission that matters. Even the haters will be watching. That's what's freaking them out. They know that despite a 35,000 signature petition demanding the couple fund themselves, despite sniping from royal experts claiming the welcome won't be warm, the reality is that Harry and Meghan are about to receive a resounding welcome as the world watches. The coverage won't just be vast, it will be global, and it will showcase a couple who have successfully built a life and a brand beyond the confines of institutional royalty. Let's sit with that for a moment. Victoria Arbiter, who has spent years within the royal commentary circuit, often walking a line that leans toward traditionalist perspectives, essentially conceded that the Sussexes are the single most compelling figures in the global celebrity and royal landscape. She didn't say people have moved on. She didn't say the fascination has faded. She said the opposite. She acknowledged that whether the response is love or hate, the eyes of the world are fixed on Harry and Meghan. And in the media economy, attention is currency. The Sussexes are billionaires in that regard. This is precisely why the upcoming visit to Australia is being treated by broadcasters, digital platforms, and print outlets as a major event. Newsrooms are allocating resources, camera crews are being dispatched, and editors are preparing special sections. They know that Sussex content drives engagement. They know that Sussex stories generate the clicks that fund their operations. And so, in a moment of rare transparency, Arbiter gave voice to what the industry knows but rarely states outright. Harry and Meghan are not a sideshow. They are the main event. The petition, which garnered 35,000 signatures, was widely cited by critics as evidence of Australian hostility. But let's apply basic mathematics. Australia's population exceeds 26.5 million people. 35,000 signatures represent approximately 0.13% of the population. That is not a groundswell of opposition. That is a vocal minority. The Sussex's spokesperson dismantled this argument with surgical precision, pointing out that if one were to engage in the absurd logic of the petition's proponents, one could equally argue that the 99.87% of Australians who did not sign must therefore support the visit. Of course, as the spokesperson noted, that would be an equally stupid assertion to make. The point was clear. The petition was a statistical irrelevance dressed up as a movement. And beyond the numbers, the very existence of such a petition reveals something deeper about the opposition. When detractors have to organize formal campaigns to manufacture discontent, it suggests that genuine, organic discontent is lacking. The Sussexes are not arriving to a nation bracing against them. They are arriving to a nation where a tiny fraction of people have been amplified by a media ecosystem that profits from conflict. The truth is that Australia, like much of the Commonwealth, retains a deep reservoir of goodwill toward Harry, the boy who grew up in the public eye, the soldier who served his country, the man who spoke openly about grief and mental health. And toward Meghan, the woman who was vilified in ways that resonated with Australians who value fairness and who recognize the patterns of media mistreatment. This goodwill does not evaporate because of a petition. It endures. and it will be on full display when the Sussexes touch down. The coverage will be vast, the world will watch, and the welcome will be resounding.
Let's look at the facts on the ground because they tell a story of overwhelming success that the critics are desperately trying to spin. Meghan's involvement in the Her Best Life retreat at the Intercontinental Sydney Koji Beach is a prime example. Detractors mocked the event as a cash grab, but the reality is that it sold out. Tickets were priced at a premium, starting at $2,699 Australian dollars and reaching $3,199 for VIP packages that include a group photo with the Duchess, yet demand outstripped supply. This is not the behavior of a couple whose star has faded, it is the behavior of a luxury brand that commands exclusivity. Meghan is attending as a headline guest, described by organizers as a mother, wife, entrepreneur, and humanitarian recognized by Time and Vogue as one of the world's most influential women. That is not a description of a failed celebrity. It is a description of a global icon. Let's examine the economics of this more closely. The retreat is limited to approximately 300 attendees. At the minimum ticket price, that represents over $800,000 in ticket revenue. At the VIP level, the figure climbs significantly. This is not a vanity project. It is a commercially viable operation. Meghan's appearance fee, while undisclosed, is reported by industry insiders to be in the high six figures, with her travel, accommodation, security, and styling fully covered. This is standard practice for high-profile speakers and guests, and it reflects Meghan's standing in the global marketplace. She is not asking for charity, she is commanding her value. Meanwhile, her lifestyle brand, As Ever, is poised for expansion. Data from digital analytics platforms indicates that approximately 9% of Meghan's online traffic originates from Australia, a remarkably high percentage for a US-based brand. This visit, with its attendant media saturation, serves as a marketing event of unparalleled reach. Every photograph, every article, every social media post functions as an advertisement for the aesthetic and sensibility that As Ever represents. The critics who sneer at the commercial aspects of the visit reveal their own misunderstanding of how modern influence operates. The Sussexes are not pretending to be working royals. They are former working royals who have built a post-royal career that combines advocacy, media production, and brand development. This is not a contradiction. It is a blueprint, and it is working. Now turn to Prince Harry. While Meghan is engaging the lifestyle and wellness sector, Harry is returning to his core mission, mental health advocacy and support for veterans. He will headline the inaugural Inter-Edge Psychosocial Safety Summit in Melbourne, a two-day event supporting Lifeline NARM, which provides crisis support services. The summit focuses on tackling burnout, psychological injury, and employee well-being in the workplace. This is not a lightweight celebrity appearance. It is a substantive engagement with policy, corporate responsibility, and mental health infrastructure. Harry has been building toward this for years, from his work with the Invictus Games to his advocacy through Archwell. The Psychosocial Safety Summit brings together business leaders, policymakers, and mental health professionals to address systemic issues affecting workers across industries. Harry's participation lends global visibility to these issues and demonstrates his continued commitment to causes that extend far beyond his own story. This is the hybrid model that the Sussexes have perfected, balancing commercial ventures with genuine philanthropic impact. They do not need to choose between earning a living and making a difference. They're demonstrating that the two can coexist, and in doing so, they're charting a path that other public figures are increasingly following. The response to the petition was handled with similar sophistication. Rather than ignoring it or reacting defensively, the Sussexes' spokesperson delivered a masterful rebuttal that reframed the entire conversation. By pointing out that 35,000 signatures represent a tiny fraction of Australia's 26.5 million population, and by humorously noting the absurdity of extrapolating from that number, the spokesperson neutralized the narrative. The media could no longer credibly claim that Australia was united against the visit. Instead, the story became about the petition's irrelevance and the Sussexes' ability to rise above petty opposition. The narrative that they were coming to bleed Australia dry evaporated, replaced by the image of a couple paying their own way while the media scrambled for something to criticize. And scramble they did. Tabloids published articles about construction at the retreat venue, about natural debris on beaches, about the cost of security. Each of these stories, intended to diminish the visit, instead demonstrated the lengths to which detractors will go to find fault. When the most compelling criticism is that a swimming pool is being renovated, it becomes clear that substantive criticisms do not exist. The Sussexes are arriving with a sold-out event, a major summit, and a level of global attention that most public figures can only dream of. That is not a sign of failure. It is a sign of enduring relevance.
History tells us what the welcome will actually look like. In 2018, the crowds in Sydney and Melbourne were immense. Fans waiting since 4 a.m., young girls crying tears of joy as they hugged Meghan, Harry embracing well-wishers and joking about getting in trouble. An 11-year-old girl named Maya declared Meghan her favorite royal. A young man in Sydney said meeting them was something he would tell his grandchildren about. A woman who had waited for hours described Harry as warm and genuine. These were not manufactured moments. They were organic outpourings of affection. That warmth does not just disappear. Australians are known for their directness, their refusal to suffer pretension, their ability to see through artifice. When they responded to Harry and Meghan in 2018, they were responding to authenticity. Harry's willingness to engage with fans, Meghan's ability to connect with people from all walks of life, their evident joy in each other's company, these qualities resonated deeply. 6 years have passed, and in that time, the Sussexes have faced trials that would have broken lesser figures. They have been subjected to relentless media attacks. They have navigated family estrangement. They have built new careers from the ground up. And they have done so with dignity, resilience, and a commitment to their values. The Australian public, which values a fair go and respects those who stand up for themselves, will recognize that journey. The 2026 tour promises similar moments, and while the British tabloids obsess over construction at a hotel or debris on a beach, those trivialities will be forgotten the moment Meghan steps out in a stunning Australian designer, perhaps Martin Grant or Dion Lee, as she favored in 2018, or the moment Harry shares a laugh with veterans who understand his service and his sacrifice. The cameras will roll. Netflix is reportedly documenting the trip, with insiders describing the project as a love letter to Australia. The streaming giant, which has a multi-year deal with the Sussexes, understands the visual and emotional power of this journey. The images will be iconic. Meghan walking barefoot on the sand, Harry engaging with community leaders, the couple sharing meals, laughing, connecting. These images will circulate across every platform, reaching audiences far beyond Australia. They will tell a story of resilience, of renewal, of a couple who have found their footing and their purpose. And they will stand in stark contrast to the narratives that detractors have tried to impose. The Sussexes are not the divisive figures that some outlets portray. They are figures who inspire devotion, precisely because they have been so relentlessly attacked. People root for them. People admire their courage. People see in them a reflection of their own struggles against unfair treatment. This is the dynamic that the haters cannot counter. No matter how many negative articles are written, no matter how many petitions are launched, the underlying affection for Harry and Meghan remains. It is sustained by the couple's own conduct, by Harry's vulnerability, by Meghan's grace, by their shared commitment to family and to causes that matter. And it is sustained by the growing recognition that the treatment they received from certain sections of the media was unjust. The Australian tour will be a showcase for all of this. It will be a resounding welcome, witnessed by the world. The coverage will be vast. The images will be powerful. The conversations will extend beyond celebrity gossip into meaningful discussions about mental health, about entrepreneurship, about the changing nature of public life. This is what the critics cannot stand. They know that no matter what they write, the world is about to see Harry and Meghan thriving. They know that the welcome will be genuine, that the crowds will be substantial, that the coverage will be largely positive. and they know that this success will reinforce Harry and Meghan's decision to step away from the monarchy and build their own path. The monarchy, for its part, seems to have learned little from the loss of Harry and Meghan. The institution continues to operate with a rigidity that drove the couple away. The palace's response to their departure has been characterized by silence, by the occasional leak, by a failure to address the underlying issues that led to the rupture. Meanwhile, Harry and Meghan have built a life that is freer, more fulfilling, and more aligned with their values. They have financial independence, they have creative control, they have a global platform that they use to amplify causes they believe in, and they have each other. As the Sussexes walk the beaches of Sydney and the streets of Melbourne, they will be greeted by genuine adoration. They will be surrounded by people who see them not as former royals, but as human beings who have navigated extraordinary circumstances with courage and integrity. They will be welcomed not as representatives of an institution, but as individuals who have earned respect through their actions. That, more than anything, is what is truly freaking out the detractors, because no amount of negative coverage can manufacture indifference where genuine affection exists. No petition can erase the connection that Harry and Meghan have built with people around the world, and no sneering commentary can diminish the moment when the Sussexes step off the plane and into the embrace of a nation that remembers them, values them, and is ready to welcome them home. The coverage will be vast, the world will watch, and Harry and Meghan will once again prove that their decision to step away and bet on themselves was not a loss for the monarchy, but a gain for the world.